We're Tom and Juanita Cook, and we always say we're Cook Family Farm, and we really talk about, emphasize family, because that is what we're all about, is we work together as a family. The chickens, we call them pastured poultry, and that is the reason why we're doing what we're doing. Is we read a book on pastured poultry by Joel Salatin, and we receive the chickens in boxes, and they come through the mail. The post office calls us here either at 9:45 p.m. or bright and early in the morning, and we go and get those, and we put them in our brooder, and we keep that at a high temperature, 90 degrees, for the first week. We start decreasing that temperature slowly each day, and they usually stay in our warmest brooder, that's brooder number 1, for about a week or 2 weeks, depending on how many birds we have at that time. We then move them to our second brooder, and all the time we're trying to decrease that temperatures, trying to adjust them slowly to what the temperatures will be outside when they go outside. They stay in those brooders for 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, and then we move them outside. And the tents that we put them in is open all the way around. They have the netting to be able to protect them from any predators. We move the tents every morning. And the main thing that we're doing when we move them is we want them on fresh grass. We never want them to be on their own manure. We do not want them to not have access to that fresh grass. Our promotion is trying to get them to consume as much as they can of their diet from the grass. The grass gives them high omega-3 and omega-6, and that is what they need to be healthy, and ultimately what we need to consume to be the healthiest that we can be as well. We have automatic waterers, and that gives them a continuous amount of fresh, cool water. 2 years ago, we now put up our own butchering facility here. We have an MDA licensed poultry processing facility. We had used the Wagbo here in northern Michigan. They had written for a grant and had gotten a mobile unit for processing chickens and turkeys that was licensed, and so we used that for 10 years. And we felt as though we had to get to a certain point of sales in order to justify putting up a building. So we did put up a building 2 years ago, and now we have our own facility, which is about 20 times the size of the trailer that we used for all of those years. These times that we are spending together today are times that will be cherished forever, and it is teaching the children also to work together.
The barn behind me, my brother Scott and I our uncle gave us some logs, so we paid to have them sawed, and we helped the man saw them. And then with all our efforts, we built the barn, and in the barn we have our draft horses. We do pulling competitions, sleigh ride, hay rides, and we also have our fair animals in there. So our steers are in there, and the barn really works great.
I started a few years ago with these hens. I got right around 900 hens. I will let them out in the afternoon so they can get grass and that in the pasture. The boxes in there is where they lay their eggs, and then they have feed and water in there.
The lambs that are in our pasture right now are purchased by 3 of our sons, and they purchased those last fall. They were bred ewes, and their hopes were to be able to raise some lambs and be able to provide all of our baby lambs that would eventually become our market lambs that we then processed and put in our freezer. We also have beds of mushrooms up in the woods that a couple of the boys have decided that they were going to give that a try, and they've tried 3 different kinds of mushrooms, and they're in high demand at the market, so that's another little project that they can venture out on their own.
We run some pigs here on the farm where we've bought some property that needs to be cleared, and we pen the pigs up in some smaller sections. We let them do some rototilling for us, some natural rototilling. They're doing really 3 things for us. 1, we're getting the product out of the pig so that we can process it. 2, we're getting some good fertilizer spread into the fields, and we're getting some rototilling done, some clearing. As they work those areas up, they'll kill some of the trees that we want removed, then we come with the other equipment and move the trees out of the way and clear for more pasture. There's a section up behind us over here that we've used that is now the horse pasture. We're going to seed that down, and then we'll rotate the chickens back to this area so that we have more pasture for the chickens to rotate on. So they work as a really good natural way of rototilling up the soil for us.
One of the ways that we market, one of the main ways we actually market is through farmers markets. We attend markets on Mondays, and Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And some of those days we actually attend 2, and some of them we even do 3. We also have a cabin right here on the farm that's very unique, and people feel like they're stepping back in time because it works on an honor system. They can get their dozen of eggs if that's all they want, or they can go in and buy their week's amount of beef and pork and chicken and lamb that they need, and they fill out an invoice or they write it down in one of our notebooks and leave their money in a little cash box that's out there, and they leave and they're all good until the next time they need to come. You know, we talk about why we do what we're doing. I always say we do it because of the 3 F's: our faith, our family, and farming, and it's a passion for all 3. To farm, you need a passion. To have a large family, you need a passion for children, and of course our faith is our passion. And we really felt as though God was leading us to do what we're doing.